All right, well, good afternoon. I hope you're all awake and get some leftover energy for me. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Brennan, Brandon, Taylor, the whole team. It's great to be here again after last year's amazing show, and I didn't think it could get better, but I'm really glad that you're beating all the records. So thank you very much. So, anyways, every time I talk, I have to. I don't know. Someone told me this once. I have to wear the Google Glass because I guess the Google Glass is what really made me sort of known out there. I was the first surgeon who ever used Google Glass during a live surgery, and it really was not a big deal. It was really I just tried to stream my view, my perspective of a surgery to my students, whom were kind of right behind me, trying to see what I was doing. Instead, they were comfortably sitting, drinking coffee in the next room. So the other technology is similar to Google Glass, and Google Glass people talk about being dead, and certainly is not. And the enterprise is growing very, very fast, and especially in healthcare, some amazing applications. So this is kind of Google Glass on steroids, the Vuzix, the Blade, which is an amazing device as well. And these are really the pioneers in head-mounted displays with AR. And I tell you, I never thought that doing an operation with Google Glass was going to bring such an excitement. And I'm glad it did, because it gives me the chance to talk to amazing people like you. So I'm a surgeon. I'm a general and trauma surgeon. I do surgical critical care. I do advanced laparoscopy and robotic surgery. So as you can imagine, as a surgeon, my first passion is really my patients and healthcare. And it's also my biggest frustration. And this is not the conference to talk about frustrations in healthcare, but that's the way it is. Being a practicing surgeon full-time, it really gives me that deep view into what's going on in healthcare. And being a surgeon, I'm exposed to a whole bunch of, technologies, a whole bunch of things. And I think technology, I'm a technophobe. Technophilic, I guess. Technology is part of our DNA. Technology is what really makes us a human in a way. I really see technology as something that, if used in a smart fashion, can really improve how we live in every sense of the word. So I really have that second passion of mine, which is technology and gadgets and things. And I always say I'm a geek surgeon. I'm a geek surgeon with a different type of glasses. So I don't have this glasses, but I have glasses like the HoloLens or the Google Glass or the Blade. These are devices that you're probably all familiar with. But when these devices came up to the market just a few years after the first step, the Model T, I guess, of AR glasses, which I call it, which was the Google Glass, I thought, wow, this is just unbelievable. And you've probably also seen the Magic Leap, which is sort of another step in the evolution of the device. And again, these are just marvelous technologies that were created for play, for entertainment, and now we can have these technologies help us do better medicine, help us do better educating in medicine, in every aspect of it. So. In any case, that's sort of my focus, But I think technology and talking, with one of the prior speakers, a colleague, a speaker, he was talking about how we need to find the humanity in technology, and I've always thought it that way. I think that technology can make us better humans, especially in medicine. Technology, if we use it smartly, can make us better empathetic, compassion. We suffer from compassion fatigue, especially in medicine, and that is something that is shameful and unacceptable. Eric Topol's just came with this a new book that I guess Amir had the exclusive, but I've been reading it. I'm halfway through it, and it's amazing because he talks exactly about that, about how technology applied rightfully and smartly can really change the way we do medicine. He talks about deep phenotyping and deep learning, and then deep empathy. And I'm 100% with that. I think that we can really make it better if we use technologies in a smart fashion. And it's all about the patient. It's all about the human touch. It's all about not forgetting the person in front of you who's looking for answers, who's looking for compassion, who's looking for to talk to someone and touch someone's hand. And that's really very important that we shouldn't forget. We talk about health care, and we really do sick care, and you've heard about this probably. For me, technology can help us actually do humane care. And I think it's not sick care, it's not even health care, it's got to be humane care. And I think that's my focus. And as... yeah, okay. And after, I thought they were going to get the hook and get me out. But my other passion is education, because as a physician, we're all educators. And it's all about education, because if we don't educate rightfully, the next generations are not going to be ready for what's coming up. And in medicine, I think that we're not doing a good job. We are not even, locally or nationally, but all over the world, there's such a problem with how are we educating the next generations of healthcare providers. And that's where I think technology can really, help. And check if we can bring the volume.
Science and the ingenuity of educational technology combined to modernize the grossly inefficient and clumsy procedures of conventional education. Sidney L. Presse, 1924.
1924. We could have said that today, in the morning. It's something that it strikes me that we haven't really changed. We haven't really done anything differently. And if you look at how people, kids study and we study, we do online stuff, but it's mostly, books and the old ways and writing in pen and paper or in the computer, and we're substituted pen and paper with computer and keyboards. And it shouldn't be that way, because, we have so much potential these days. Someone was showing, Mel's later, those awesome videos, and Brennan, and I read this paper from July of last year that they were people was embodying Einstein, and after doing that for a while and kind of becoming Einstein, they sort of did much better in regards to cognitive assessments and testing. And we heard that this morning in a way. And, I guess if you immerse yourself in Einstein, you can really at least think or believe that you're better than what you really are. But I see it as another example of how much better we can do. You see some examples of youth, young kids, using these technologies in ways that we never thought possible. And we see how immersive learning, how experiential learning can really improve all parameters. And we heard about that before, and 250% performance improvement. We know some numbers about 20% you retain if you hear it, and 30% if you see it. But then if you immerse yourself in the experience, they talk about 70 and 90%. That is pretty amazing. That's why we need to keep doing what we're doing in conferences like this, and pushing for this type of technologies to really radically change how we do healthcare. Because the way we do it is the way we've done it for hundreds of years in surgery, at least, and in medicine in general. I always have 2, 3, 4 students. I work for a community, private tertiary care center, but we have 2 universities that send their students in 3rd and 4th year surgical rotations, and that's what they do. They look and they watch, and they really have no good hands-on immersive experience in a way, and I think that's very, very important. If you look at how we learn anatomy, for example, this is actually my great-grandfather in Venezuela. I'm from Venezuela, and this is 1897, teaching anatomy. He's the guy in the middle, teaching all really preppy looking in there in front of the cadaver, and it's still done the same way. If you go to any anatomy lab, it's less gross than this, but it's still the same. And when I saw this picture, which I thought was an awesome picture, what really struck me was the fact that they write that in the bottom, more to VIVOS DOCENT, which is the dead teaching the living. And when you see that, we shouldn't be doing that anymore. We should have technology, techno teaching the living. And I think that's really what we need to be focusing on. So I can talk forever, I guess, about VR and AR and XR. You're all experts, so we don't need to even talk about the differences, and they don't really matter. When we think about the spatial computing and where we are now in that fourth era of computing, where before we have the MS-DOS, the characters, computers, black screens with characters, and Atari was the most exciting game, boom, against the little, and then we came with the graphics interfaces, the Apple desktop with all the icons, and that was mind-blowing, right? And that's where kind of we are now, except that now we introduced the touch, interfaces, in the tablets and the phones, and now we are in the spatial computing where the space is our desktop, and we can use devices like the HoloLens or the Magic Leap, and you can go, in a room and open your email, and you go to the next room and open a movie, and you go to the next room or to the patient's room and open a chart, and go to the next patient's room and open another chart, and it's all going to be there when you go physically to those locations in the space. So that is incredible, and the potential of that, it's just unlimited to how, it's really limited by our creativity, our imagination. All started with this, Google Cardboard, I guess, in a way, and still you find the Google Cardboards everywhere, very inexpensive, usually free in conferences and things, and with that and a smartphone, a supercomputer, we all carry one or two of these in our pockets, we can do and teach marvels. And the title of my talk, I guess through the looking glass, and we can do this. We can actually go through that, glass and immerse ourselves in this fantasy, in a way, sci-fi world that can teach us and train us to do anything we want to teach, we want to learn. So, and we've seen it years after years for the last, at least 3 to 4 years. Shafi Amin, my good friend who's speaking tomorrow, they did just 2 or 3 years ago, gave viewers to a bunch of the students, and they thought of doing a VR streaming, just like we're doing today, but it was a big deal back just 2 or 3 years ago, and now it's pretty common, even for conference, people, you can join and be there with a viewer and be immersed in the conference. So they did that in the operating room, and then, students, instead of being right behind them, they were sitting comfortably with a viewer and a phone, or in their tablets, or on the phones, on the computers, and they were just inside the operating room.
1 million
And they did this. And you might see and hear about this more tomorrow, but Shafi's idea to do this brought, at the end, when they did the tallies of how many people watched this operation, 55,000 people in the world was in that OR with viewers watching and learning from one of the best surgery teams in the world. So we can't even imagine the repercussions, the consequences of people in the middle of Africa, or in the middle of the Pacific, or in South America, or even in the US, and learning and seeing what real surgery is about, and without having to move. So we have I think a Cedars-Sinai product, GibLib, where their platforms are there where you can just, either free or get a subscription. And as a surgeon, I use this platform. If I got to do a robotic case that is kind of complicated, I just put my viewer in there and sit and live an operation, immerse myself in the experience of an operation by top surgeons who do this operation, 10 times a week rather than once a month like I might do this particular operation. So again, it's technology used in a smart way to make us better teachers and better students. And that brings us to simulation, which is really, how we do. We learn, how do we learn, surgery? By training, but minimally, and in ways that are not really smart. And you look at pilots, airline pilots, and I was trying to look, and maybe someone knows in here, how many hours does a pilot of a 757 plane has to train in a simulator before they go on a plane with 500, 300 people on board? So countless hours, and the technology is not new, it's getting better, but it's not new, and you sit there and you can really fly the plane and go through storms and go through all sorts of emergencies and land in the Hudson River or whatever, and you can do it safely because you train countless hours to do that, to respond. Same thing in surgery, but in surgery we don't do it that way. We don't do it that way. We've been playing with this for a while, and Touch Surgery, which is now digital surgery from the UK, great group of people there. They have hundreds of operations in there. It's a digital surgical atlas, and you can learn step by step, very kind of immersive in a way, how to do surgery. And you have Animaris. I'm one of their advisors. Animaris created these web animations which are physiologically and anatomically correct, and you can see and go inside the heart and see the blood flowing, and you see the heart goes in a dysrhythmia, irregular beat. You can see the blood being turbulent, and you can explain to a patient maybe why they have to take antiplatelets. And it's not limited to the heart. They're creating the inside body where they have the brain, and they can put this with wearables, and you can see the different side of the brain that light up depending on how relaxed you are or how agitated you are. Same thing with the lungs. It's really, again, no limit to what we can create. You have companies like VIVOS, which is based out of New York, a couple of neurosurgery residents. Amazing guys. This platform is just sci-fi. I wish this could be available every day. When I look at a 3D image on a flat screen, it makes me so mad. And I have to go and find the screen rather than having a viewer and look at the screen. And if any of you are in medicine, when we talk about computerized tomographies, the CT, we have 3 axes, basically the axial, and we have the sagittal and the coronal. Here, the axes are basically unlimited. You can look at an image and you can immerse yourself. And not only that, you can diagnose, you can learn, you can diagnose, or potentially, and now that's happening, especially in Europe, but now in the US as well, where you can do markers on top of the body. So you can put the reality and the virtual together, and you can then guide a surgeon to have a better procedure, a more accurate and less, difficult in a way procedure with a better outcome, just by integrating these technologies, again, in a clever way, in a smart way. And you all heard about HoloLens 2, and that's going to be a marvel machine. It's something that it'll be a dream to be able to read gestures in a sort of artificially intelligent way, and you don't have to learn the gestures like in the new HoloLens. Basically, you can just whatever gesture the device is going to interpret what you want to do, and if you want to open a picture or if you want to move something, the device is going to. So this is going to really accelerate, I think. And this is one of many devices, but this is going to accelerate how we integrate these devices. The Magic Leap, I've been working with Magic Leap for about 6 months or so, not working directly, basically engaging with them in a very good way. And it's a great community of developers who really are the ones who write the code and who write the spells. For us then to play with the magic. I wish I could write the spells, but these guys are amazing. And what you can create with devices like this, again, created for entertainment, is just plain amazing. They had the Leap conference here in LA less than a year ago, and I was able to attend. And the digital health segment of that conference was really not that advertised in a way. And I took this video of a video just to depict that the stuff that is happening with Magic Leap. This is Brain Labs, technology in Germany, which is all over the world. It's just unbelievable. It's really like magic. And we all heard about Clark's law. You have technology so advanced that it's indistinguishable from magic. That's where we are today. That's where we are today. So this I should have video. Well, this is one of the chief surgery residents at Temple University. And when I gave a talk there, one of their ground rounds, and when he put the device on and started playing with it, I had some medical stuff that is not out public yet on the Magic Leap, and this is insane. That's what he said. It should have been a little icebreaker for you guys, but he just couldn't believe it because he was interacting with images in a way that he couldn't believe. So then you've seen Justin Barat's also VR, amazing company, amazing technology. Lots of hype about this company with reason, revolutionizing the way orthopedic training happens. He presented last year in here, and it's great. But for me as a surgeon, it's really great to be able to do this and learn this way. But there's something lacking. I'm going to go through the whole video because it's really cool and well done. And this is all anatomically, physiologically, surgically correct. So you can train like those airline pilots and do a better job at the end when you go drill someone.
Recording.
And then this company from Turkey. This is about 6 months ago. I connected with these people in Istanbul, and I put my HoloLens. They sent all
Hello
the
there, doctor.
software
I
to
played
me.
some football about 2 hours ago. Afterwards, my chest began to ache.
MHAS
At
is the
first,
name of the
I
company.
thought I just pushed myself too hard, but when shortness of breath happened, I rushed here to see you. When
On
I
the
sit down,
HoloLens, you
pain
are there.
fades a
You're
little
immersed.
bit. Also, lowering the car window on the way here helped as well.
And because it's mixed reality, so your table, your real settings can be read, and the patient sits on a table and lies on the table. And then you can learn, how to maybe have a conversation with the patient, how to take a history, how to do some basic physical exam. We have a couple examples, I think it's Endonovo and Oxford Medical, which are doing this. So this is going to be the future of learning, because there's no other way. We cannot keep doing it the same way we do. We don't have enough researchers to keep doing it the way that we have been doing it for a while. This is Micah. I don't know if you've seen this, but this is basically human-centered AI. And Micah is sort of the avatar for Magic Leap. And when you see Micah on a high-definition screen, you think it's a video. You can look at the pores, the sweat.
On natural facial expressions. We wanted Micah to emote
The
in
facial
believable
expressions
ways. Above
is
all
indeed
else,
human
her facial movements are
looking
what
and
connect
human-centered
you to her.
AI.
The lesson here, Micah is an ideal interface to the human-centered AI that evokes natural reactions from us. The technical hurdles are to get the interactions and intelligence to a high level that people expect.
So imagine that avatar, right, with an artificial intelligence and even deep learning system where you can, call, instead of calling the doctor or the nurse, you can just log in and the avatar will guide you through your symptoms or guide you through the procedure that you're going to have, the colonoscopy that you're going to have next week. And then you can use this in a very smart way, not substituting the human, but just complementing the human in ways that we never could do before. So I really, what excites me the most is the haptics, because the haptics, this is a term created by a German psychologist in 1892, and we still use the term, Max Dessoir. And he was German, and he basically wanted to have a term for the academic work related to touch, to the sense of touch. So he came up with this terminology or this word, and it's really extended physiologic proprioception, right? And you all have felt, haptics and have played with haptics, and this is what's missing. Because when you see also VR and other platforms are there, which are awesome, but as a surgeon, I want to feel. I want to not grab a sort of bar or tracker. I want to have a knife. I want to have a pair of scissors not even 3D scissors, like immersive VR has 3D printed scissors. I want to have them in digital, in VR, and be able to just grab them, and be able to feel them, and be able to cut the tissue and feel the different densities. And we are here there. This is not science fiction. We can do that already. It's still early. I don't know if you know about Amara's law, where certain great technologies, we tend to be hyper excited and basically think about them as great technologies in the short term, but then we definitely underestimate them in the long term, and that's what's happening with VR. I think that haptics is certainly there, and fundamental VR is kind of also VR with haptics, and now you have them working with haptX. And you can feel the drilling of that bone in a way that is almost like real. I've played with this, and I tell you, they have on the left the 3D printed instrument, but on the right you have the glove, and you can actually feel the tissue, feel the bone, feel the different textures. Really like having the surgery, practicing the surgery on a patient. And it's really exciting. And they're not the only ones. I brought this. This is from Delft in the Netherlands, and this is like an awesome, really a platform which is still in the prototype phase, although they're out in the auto industry, I believe. This is called, and they should have volume in there. I was cracking eggs, and I did it with the actual HTC device. Here, I wanted to show you how it looks. But I was feeling the soft ball, I was feeling the hard ball, and then they gave me an egg, all in VR, and I was able to crack that egg with enough strength to crack it. I could have been there, just like Brennan showed this morning. You fool the brain in such ways, but to be able to feel and have the surgical technique all right, that really is going to revolutionize the way we actually learn procedures in medicine. And then you have haptics, which recently came up with this great news. I don't know if you saw this. This fellow is there, and he's connected wirelessly with a computer, with a robotic arm, but he's feeling through the haptics platform, he's feeling the plastic cup in a way that he can do all this stacking. He's there, but he could have been, in the next room, or he could be, elsewhere, geographically, spatially, anywhere. And if you see how this is happening today, and you think about how we can think about telehealth, telemedicine, teleconsulting, telesurgery, we are there yet. And it's just going to be a matter of a few years. And this news is also from less than a month ago in China. They were able to use robotic surgery to do surgery in an animal at a distance, 30 miles apart. Okay, I don't know the details of the surgery. This was in the news recently. And we had done telesurgery. Two surgeons, Jacques Marisco and another fellow, I can't remember his name, two surgeons in New York operated on a patient in Paris. They removed the gallbladder laparoscopically. And it was doable, except that, it was, across the Atlantic. They called it the Lindbergh operation. And it's doable, but the latency was not acceptable. You could certainly not do this, although the military developed robotic surgery to do this, but it's definitely doable. But now they're proving that with the new 5G technology that is coming and coming fast, and is 10 to 100 times faster than what we have with LTE, that's going to revolutionize how we connect, how we communicate, and they could do the surgery with a latency that it's 0.1 second. Humans cannot perceive the latency. So with this really incredible bandwidth and low latency, amazing things can happen. And if you put, this surgery, together, less than 2 weeks later, they did it in a human, also in China, and this surgeon was able to do a robotic procedure 3,000 miles away. He was digging on the patient's brain. There were surgeons, on the patient's side, but all with 5G, and that's the key. It's not high-speed fiber, it's 5G. It's like a cellular call, but he's doing surgery in someone's brain. And this is within a month of each other, they were able to do this. So if you put then haptics together, you can imagine that you can really feel what you're doing and what you're touching and what you are examining at a distance. You're really going to really revolutionize how we do medicine and how we teach medicine. And we all know that 2/3 of the world population, and we talk about 5 billion, this is from the statistics of Lancet, the 2015 Lancet report, where 2/3 of the population of the world do not have access to safe or affordable surgery. 5 billion people. If you get appendicitis, if you get a minor sort of surgical problem, minor for our society, parameters, you can die easily. So if you think about how global access is in trouble, and not just doing medicine, doing surgery, but learning. The global access in healthcare, the global access to education in healthcare is really in shameful state, and I think the technologies can certainly heal this. Technologies can make us better humans, better doctors, better providers, better surgeons. We can provide, again, not just health care or really sick care, but humane care in a much better way. And we have to remember, because that's the core of what we do, that education and health care are really basic human rights, and we need to see them as such. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Rafael, for being here. That was fantastic. I think that does it for this day, right?
And I forgot one thing. You see, I was so concentrated. I'm wearing this fancy, this is not a Captain Marvel a suit or my pajamas. I changed, I wanted to talk about this during one of my slides, but this is the Holo suit. The Holo suit, basically, and I just got that yesterday, and luckily it came right before. So the Holo suit, basically a full, I didn't bring the pants and the gloves because it was going to look really ridiculous, but this is enough ridiculous. But basically it's a full body tracking for VR, for the digital world, full body tracking and haptics. So you can be playing a game, or you can be playing golf or doing surgery eventually, and you can be completely immersed in the digital experience, and then you have these sensors in there connected to whatever device you want, and you can not just have the body tracking, but also the haptics, which is really, again, I see it as the holy grail of VR and AR and XR. So thank you very much. Go to dinner.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my friend.